Welcome to the Closing the Wealth Gap Pain Truth Money series with your host, Raquel M.R. Thomas. Each episode is designed to teach you, discuss ways to elevate and motivate you.
The Wealth Gap, Pain, Truth, and Money, and this is episode 8. And I titled this one Pull Up. Riri gave an amazing speech. If you don't know who Riri is, Rihanna gave an amazing speech. And in her speech, she said, pull up. And for those of you that don't know what that means, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about what pull up means. Make sure you share with your friends. I'm going to go ahead and jump in, and I'll do a watch party after this so we can get back together. But I want to go ahead and get the content. Sorry about that, guys. I had a call come in. Episode 8, Closing the Wealth Gap, Pain, Truth, Money. Right now, we are in a very rare time. We have the coronavirus that's gone rapid. We have a lot of people panicking, schools closing, individuals being laid off from their jobs, small businesses going out of business and or losing business. And I'll say this to you, pull up. Tell your friends to pull up. Rihanna gave a speech, and it was an amazing speech, but what she said was very profound when she said pull up. And that means tell your friends that are around you, that aren't in your communities, that you have relationships with, tell them to pull up, because right now we need their help the most. So in this segment, in Closing the Wealth Gap, Pain, Truth, and Money, I want to talk about how important it is for entrepreneurs to understand that there is business still to be made and dollars still to be made, even with the coronavirus gone rapid, right? You have an online platform where you can share and build with your followers. While we may not be outside, while we may not be in the mall, while we may not be at our jobs, we still have a position to share our platform on the internet. So for those of you that are in business and you feel like you can't make money because of what's going on, well, there's no better time than right now to use your online platform, be visible to the people that follow you, show them where you are, show them what you're doing, talk about what you're going through. But there is still a platform, and a platform that we can use right now in such a time of chaos. And I'll tell you what I've done. And this is how we close the wealth gap. We have to remain visible, number one. Business owners, you can't give up. You can't say, well, I can't make money because this is going on and that's going on. What you got to do is find ways to make money in the midst of this. But more importantly, when we talk about closing that wealth gap, it means we have to come together. And I'll say this, my business partner and I, we own a restaurant. So what we've done is decided to provide dinner for families, full course meals for $5, right? That is helping the community, that is providing full course meals at a very affordable price, even less than what it will cost to go to the grocery store. And for my individual help's sake, I have decided, you know what, there are some families that need help. We have a lot of amazing people donating. We have a lot of amazing people providing child care services for people who have to go to work and they don't have child care, so on and so forth. But I wanted to be very unique and very pinpointed when I talk about helping. So I made a post earlier and I said, hey, for those of you who need help, tell me what you need. What do you need? Hi, I am from Columbia, South Carolina, and I'm actually live from Columbia, South Carolina right now. I asked, what do you need? What do you need? I wanted to not just donate to a large organization where lots of funds are going to, but yet pinpoint individuals that really needed help and do what I can. Now, I can't save the world, but I can do something. Another thing that I did was I reached out to the local colleges and say, hey, what do you need? What do you need? I reached out to one of my local HBCUs and say, hey, how can I help? What do you need? And my goal is to literally provide those services that are very pinpointed, where I know where my funds are going and I know exactly who I'm helping. Now, I think for those of us who are conscious on helping, we have to check the people in our community, number one. Check with our local schools, number two. And make sure that you just know what's going on in your immediate area. And my goal is to help those in my immediate area, in my direct community that I commute in every day, hence providing food at a very affordable cost, to providing assistance to the local colleges that may need help, the students that may need help getting home, the students that may need help eating, whatever the case may be, but really focusing in on my individual direct community. So when we talk about closing the wealth gap, that is a part of it. And if you would take a moment to think, if we didn't have such a widespread of issues with the wealth gap, would feeding our families be such an issue? And I'm going to ask you that again. If the wealth gap wasn't so far apart, would we have the same issues we're having right now with feeding our communities? Underserved communities not being able to eat? The answer is no. So closing the wealth gap in this time means we have to put our hands together, our minds together, our heart together, and help those that are in need, number one. But number two, we have to start thinking, what could have changed the dynamic of where we are right now in a sense of needing food, needing storage, needing housing, electricity being turned off, water being turned off? What could have made a difference when we talk about closing the wealth gap? So as business owners, I challenge you to stay focused, keep working in the midst of the coronavirus, keep working, use your online platform to talk to your followers, to encourage them, to motivate them, and to still teach. You can offer, if you have a conference that you were supposed to do, and for whatever reason, the building is closed down, everything's going on with the virus has caused people not to come out, why can't you offer an online class? Why can't you offer an online training and supplement the costs, right? You can lower the cost greatly because you're online versus renting a facility, so you still can work. Don't feel like you can't work because we're restricted to our homes, because we are not able to move how we would traditionally move. Okay, so let me say this to you. I normally open up Closing the Wealth Gap, Pain, Truth, and Money with a quote, and I didn't today, but I'm going to move into that right now. I titled this particular segment, episode 8, Pull Up, because when Rihanna said pull up, when she gave that speech, that is our time right now. Pull up. Tell your friends to pull up and help those that are in need of help. But more importantly, make sure that you're doing your part. And it may not be financial, because helping and providing assistance isn't always financial, but do what you can. But the quote of the day is, alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. Helen Keller said that. Again, alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. And Helen Keller said that, and that's so true, right? One person can go in and have an impact, of course, but when we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 people, we can make an even bigger and stronger impact. So make sure that you join the forces in your community to help those that are in need. We have to take care of our elderly. Our elderly is suffering the most right now. And then we have our infants. So make sure that you put your arms around those people. Closing the wealth gap means we have to still work, entrepreneurs, in the midst of this time. Use your online platform, use your voice to create more seats at the table. Use your voice to close the wealth gap. Use your voice to generate dollars. Use your voice to pour back into the community. Use your voice to teach. Do not give up in this time. This does not mean give up, okay? So for those of you who have businesses, try to offer your services online. Go live, talk to your people, but do not give up whatever you do, because if you give up, we will be an issue. And when I say an issue, we will become the issue that is a part of the gap that we have in wealth. So when we are focused on closing that wealth gap, make sure that we do our part and we don't give up. I'll say this and I'll close out. I am very passionate about entrepreneurship, and my goal is to inspire communities and people through entrepreneurship. But my goal is to inspire individuals to build their communities. And when you build your communities, we are building people. And when we build people, we build wealth. They all go together. So make sure you're taking the time to do those things. Again, for those of you that are in Columbia, South Carolina, my partner and I have a restaurant called The Golden. It's located at 110 Columbia Northeast Drive. And for the next 2 weeks, as long as the children are out of school, we will be providing dinner for $5, full course meals for $5 for you and your family. For those of you that need some independent help outside of food, please inbox me, and I'm going to do what I can to help you. Again, I can't save the world, but I will do what I can to assist. This is a time where we pull together and not pull apart. We need each other. We're stronger together. And as Helen Keller said, alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much. So let's make sure we're staying together. This is episode 8 of Closing the Wealth Gap, Pain, Truth, and Money. I'm your host, Raquel Richardson-Thomas, and I hope to hear from you. See you guys soon. Stay active. Entrepreneurs, don't you give up. Use your online platform to make a difference. Hey, episode 8, Closing the Wealth Gap, Pain, Truth, and Money. Make sure you check us out. I'll be back on Monday. On Wednesday, I'm also on Instagram TV with the segment called Raquel's Business Motivational Mastermind. You can find me on Instagram at RaquelRT3, RaquelRT3. And if you're not already following me on Facebook, make sure you do so. I'm Raquel M.R. Thomas MBA. Raquel M.R. Thomas MBA on Facebook. Turn on those notifications. I'm live on Mondays. And then I have another segment on Wednesdays that I post to IGTV. My website is www.raquelmrthomas.com. Don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm looking forward to what's to come. We will survive this coronavirus. It will pass, but in the meantime, we have to take care of each other. Be safe, be cautious. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Raquel Richardson-Thomas.
This has been a Closing the Wealth Gap, Pain, Truth, Money episode. To find more and follow Raquel, please go to RaquelMRThomas.com.